Good evening and welcome everyone. Tonight, Nigeria's electoral future is back on the front burner. After hours of intense debate, the Senate has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026, but not without controversy, pushback and loud reactions from civil society and even within the National Assembly itself. At the heart of the debate is how election results are transmitted, how early elections are announced, how political parties submit candidates, and whether recent reforms move Nigeria forward or quietly take us backwards. The Senate is insisting that it did not reject electronic transmission of results, but simply retained the existing law that allows INEC to determine the mode of transmission. The amendment request was that the electronic transmission should be made mandatory. Now, critics say that distinction matters and that it's especially as we count down to 2027 elections. They are also warning that vague provisions could open the door to things like manipulation and post-election chaos. Beyond result transmission, the Senate also shortened election timelines. It adjusted penalties for vote buying and PVC trading, retained PVCs as the sole voter identification, replaced card readers with beavers, and struck out key provisions on non-compliance that could affect how election cases are decided in court. Civil society are alarmed. The civil society groups are alarmed. Some senators we hear are unhappy. But the most important thing today is the big question for many Nigerians: does this amendment strengthen democracy or weaken public trust in the process? We're also following very closely development within the Independent National Electoral Commission that has now called for a new voter verification in order to ensure that our 93 million strong voter register is actually sanitized. The latest update from INEC now is that it's registered 2 new political parties, bringing the number of registered parties in the country to 21. And this out of over 170 applications by different groups ahead of the 2027 general election. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amokpiton disclosed this today during the Commission's first regular consultative meeting with political parties for 2026. That meeting held at INEC headquarters in Abuja. The newly registered parties are the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA, and the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. Professor Amokpiton said while only the Democratic Leadership Alliance met all the conditions of the registration of political parties, the National Democratic Congress is being registered in obedience to the judgment of the Federal High Court in Lokoja. He said the decision followed a rigorous assessment process in line with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Electoral Act of 2022, and INEC's regulations and guidelines for political parties.
You recall that the Commission received a total of 171 letters of intent from associations seeking registration as political parties. Consequently, 14 associations that satisfied the initial pre-qualifications were invited to proceed to the next stage. Of these, 8 successfully uploaded their documents on the Commission's dedicated portal. The parties are stated here, but out of these 8, only 2 qualify for final assessment and verification of due compliance with the Constitution and the Electoral Act. After due consideration, only the Democratic Leadership Alliance was found to have complied fully with the requirement of the law.
As the electoral umpire, INEC bears a profound constitutional duty. The Commission must remain independent, neutral, fair, firm, and decisive in conducting elections that are free, fair, credible, transparent, and inclusive. It must always provide a level playing field for all political parties and candidates, mindful that its integrity is tested each time citizens go to the poll. IPAC is aware of leadership disputes within some political parties and urge urges INEC to be guided strictly by the constitution of the respective parties when addressing.
More on this development on the show. Stay with us, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. We should inform our viewers that we had scheduled this conversation with spokesperson of the Senate, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, who confirmed for this time, as at the start of this program and several minutes into the show, he's not joined us, and our attempts to reach him have so far been unsuccessful. We believe it's important to say that clearly, because this is a matter of significant national interest, and we extended the opportunity for the Senate's position to be fully heard. We'll continue to keep that door open. In the meantime, I'm joined by a lawyer who also has been very who has shown keen interest and who has also been fully involved in developments around our elections in Nigeria. Mr. Tunji Abdulhamid, thank you so much for joining us on such notice. I'm sure you're following this conversation keenly. There is strong public perception that the Senate rejected electronic transmission of election results, even though the Senate president is saying that is false. Walk us through your initial reaction to this development yesterday.
Anyway, my initial reaction, if I would be sincere to you, I am not surprised because I was expecting it. I was expecting that, you see, we have a system that is helping people who are in power, and they don't want to change it. They want a system they can compromise. And that is why I'm not surprised about it. I've said it to people that, look, I'll be surprised if it's even the entire amendment, if it goes through, that some of the at last minute it may even not be signed. So I am not surprised. That was my reaction at that time. You see, this attitude of the denial by the Senate president is just grammar. What they did was just a denial, the refusal of a transmission by IREF. You say the people are what we have last election that made people to make a recommendation for the mandatory use of IREF was because of the glitch that nobody can even explain to today. And so if you are and because when people went to court challenging the result on the IREF and the one that was declared, they said no. The court said IREF is not recognized by law. So people now want it to be mandatory that whatever that the INEC has a right discretion to either say I will go by this or I'll go by that. So now INEC has decided to go by this, so it's allowed to do so. So now the people are saying we don't want a situation whereby INEC will have opportunity to decide which one to choose. Let it be mandatory for INEC to transmit by through IREF real time, because you see they say justice is not only to be done, it must be seen to be done. People, the confidence is not there. Let's show the people the confidence. Let's see how the things are going, so that people will at least whatever that will may even reduce the number of cases in courts. When the people when you already is clear. But alas, they say they want to retain the former one, whereby the commission will have the option to determine which one to do. Whether to is it the same commission that, for example, last election that gave us guideline as to how it will be, and in the middle of the game you change it. So is that the same commission we want to rely on? The confidence and the trust is not there, and that's why people are complaining. So I think it's just the state president, with due respect, is just being clever by half. What they did was rejection of transmission real time. Whatever he's saying is just an interpretation of law that will not even help situation that people want to rescue when it comes around. The lacuna they recognized was that INEC was given a leeway to choose whichever to go, and they've realized that this leeway has given INEC to do what people are not satisfied with, and they don't want it in a situation whereby INEC must be compelled to be able to do it. So if it's mandatory, INEC will not have a choice than to go by real-time result. That is IREF.
And that position resonates very well with civil society groups, including the Situation Room, who say that this version does not reflect stakeholders' consultations. We are hearing that even some senators are not happy with how the gavel was used. With the Senate now trusting INEC's internal guidelines, do you think we have enough safeguards in this amendment to ensure that INEC's discretion is not abused?
You see, even in 2022, I remember when the new amendment was made, which gave the INEC at that time this particular section that gave INEC discretion. I was one of those who said these are just a leeway, or this is a clear avenue for any INEC officer who wants to do what they call wuru in Yoruba land. He wants to do manipulation, and alas, it happened. People then said, let's even try it first. We have tried it now, and people have realized that look, this opportunity given to INEC, I think if there is a trust, that opportunity is good, because they are in a situation whereby there's a problem, they will resort to the other means. But in a situation whereby INEC will bring out its own guideline, and it will fail to abide by it, and it will tell us something else. They said we had glitch in the election, that three elections, Senate rep and the president, a presidential election. In the same election, at the same time, the same IRF, two work well, one did not work. How? No explanation. So if it's not made compulsory, no matter what happens, you make sure it works, because without it, there won't be results. So and the INEC be forced to ensure that it works. So for me, there's no other way than to make it mandatory. There's no other way, because there's no trust in our system.
The other side to this conversation, Mr. Abdulhamid, is the capacity to transmit electronically, because INEC is claiming that it doesn't have that capacity. It cannot single-handedly, ascertain that network will be good and what have you. Do you think if the Senate had gone with this amendment, we have enough time to make it happen and hitch-free ahead of the next election?
Are you saying there's no network everywhere in the country? Are you saying even Boko Haram, the bandits in the bush they are doing TikTok? Are they doing it inside not in the village? The senators and most of our officers who live in the village, the remote one for that matter, whenever they want to communicate, they communicate with their people. With what? They do TikTok there, they do whatever they want to do there. Even if they don't have, INEC can't we do with that kind of money that we have? INEC can make an arrangement to the extent that they will get a network temporarily for that exercise. How many minutes are we talking about? How many months? How many hours are we talking about for that particular day? Or at what? Let's say because this attitude of taking a result to a particular collection center, that is why the deed is done. At that collection center, most agents will be sent out. I'm telling you, because people will come and say, don't they have agents there? Agents most times they will not. The security agency will not allow them most times. They will send them out, and then they will start doing whatever they want to do. And in the middle of the night, you will see the result that is why 1,000 will be 10,000. And yes, INEC will release the result. The law says if there's a complaint, INEC had a 7 day to reveal the result. Did they do that last election? No. So the point is that INEC is not showing that transparency for people to trust INEC. That's why people are feeling this way. Otherwise, people may not even be concerned about it if because of what happened. Because most people trusted the last INEC chairman, because he said it. He went everywhere and said, this IRF is a game changer. This is what will change everything. At the time when they are supposed to use it, it became it's not compulsory. We have a choice. So for me, the best way is for us to make it mandatory because of lack of trust in our system.
You're saying that if bandits can have access to internet to use TikTok, then INEC should be able to, inside the bush, INEC should be able to find its way around getting internet in every.
Of course, it's not difficult. Now they want to do it's not difficult. If it's campaign, they will go there and find a way of our politicians will find a way of going to any village during campaign. They won't tell you the road is bad. They won't tell you this is not accessible. They won't tell you there is no network there. They won't know that we are coming. They will not tell you that. Then when it comes to things that will improve our, and again, I listened to who was that person this morning? I can't remember. He said when they did the stakeholder meeting regarding this particular amendment, that it was agreed that mandatory transmission of it. That's what they agreed. So I know that he did not understand how the Senate now come about the issue of we are retaining this, and that majority of the senators rejected this position. But alas, the Senate president used his power, and then they say otherwise. that is not a system that is working. That is not a system that people can trust. When majority will say this and minority will make his way. No, in democracy, minority have their say, while the majority have their way. But the fact is the case. So we have so many issues that make people not to trust our system. When the law says, and that's why most times I say law is not our problem. Even this transmitter I was talking about, IRF, they will see manipulate it. They will find a way around it and bring another way of tampering with it. That is us. But because the people who have been trusted with it are always compromising. That is the problem we are having. The day we will have people who will be trusted with this system, and people who at least we will see the kind of result that we will see in the election that people will be satisfied with. We may even not see much cases in court. But today, the way it is, people want to go to court because there's no trust in the system. In fact, if you come 10, you can decide to go to court and say, I want to try it, because a 10 can become number 1. That's the kind of system we are running.
The Senate also increased fines for vote buying and PVC trading, but rejected a proposed 10-year J term or political ban. Do you think stiffer fines alone truly can deter electoral crimes in a system where offenders are rarely prosecuted?
Exactly, that is what I wanted to say. That it's not even the law itself that is causing the problem now. It's lack of enforcement of the law. The law we have on ground prescribe punishment, prescribe penalty, prescribe whatever. How many people have been sentenced or fined for corrupt for electoral malpractices? How many people? How many well-to-do or VIP or major stakeholder in our system have been taken to court on the issue of what's it called? Even the issue of vote buying. Is it very easy? Is it easy to ascertain? If you are talking about vote buying, how do you ascertain what is vote buying? Does it mean that within the election I cannot give anybody money for my pocket? If I have a sister or brother that wants and we are the polling unit and he comes to me and say, I want to eat, please give me money, and I give it to him, would that be vote buying? How would they ascertain that? There will be a lot of, you see, what we need is sincerity. Sincerity. Once we have sincerity in the system, once we have trust in the system. In fact, we can even go and sleep in our houses and believe that those in charge will do the right thing. If you like, go out. I won't lie to you. I don't have confidence in our system. I don't have confidence in a electoral system in particular. I don't have confidence because what you think is not possible, you will see it possible in Nigeria. The way it happens, and it's alarming. The way in fact these days they even do it in a way that they do it like as if that it was deliberate, or they know what they are doing without even any fear of anything. No, but I have acted as prosecutor to INEC. I tell you, they were not able to give us. They were not giving us the witnesses we needed. The document we needed were not given to us. The witnesses were not coming from INEC, not from any other places. And these are the same people who say we should go take who reported the case and take them to court. But when it comes to giving evidence, they are not providing the witnesses and they are not providing the documents. How do you prosecute? How do you sentence anybody? How do you even check people? When people realize that, look, if this is done, I can go scot-free without anything. People will continue to do it. So what we lack in our system is lack of punishment. We don't punish people for their crime. And
you know that
as long as we continue in that manner, no matter how much law we put in the crime, because those who have been committing it, are not even giving. They not even give them 1 year in prison or 1 month in prison, talk less of a life imprisonment. But if they put even if they put a ban on a 10 years ban on the what's it called? How many politicians have been arrested in the last 10 years or 15 years or 20 years? 10 years. How many politicians? Those that will be arrested are people who are those boys, the foot soldiers, are the one that will be arrested. They will not arrest any major stakeholder in that practice.
That's our time. Civil society groups say they prefer the House version of the bill. Perhaps the conference committee, as they begin work on this, we are probably going to see some negotiations from the Senate point of view, and perhaps a compromise in the coming days. I've been speaking with lawyer Tunji Abdulhamid. Thank you for saving the day. And
can you hear me now?
On the program. Yes, that's our time, Mr. Abdulhamid. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. And glad to have you join us as well. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.